Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Danielle, just in case you didn't know, now you do know. And today we're going to talk about some more tips for plus size sewing, because there's always more. And I've noticed lately you guys are really liking my past video on tips for plus size sewing, so I've got more for you. First, I want to say a big thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring this video, and I will tell you a bit more about them later in the video. Alright, I have tailored this list of tips to focus on when you're watching a tutorial by a creator who is smaller than you. And that's pretty much everybody, because I don't make very many or any sewing tutorials anymore. And most people who do make sewing tutorials on the internet these days are a smaller size. Most people aren't plus size, and so it can be a little daunting when going to their channel and realizing, oh my goodness, this person is like 10 sizes smaller than me. What am I doing? How do I follow this? It's so overwhelming. How do I convert what they're doing into what fits for me? And so I've got a few tips that will help you and have helped me in the past convert what they're doing to what will work for my body. My number one tip, they're in no particular order, but number one on my list is buy wide fabric. A lot of times fabric is like 45 inches wide, but a lot of fashion fabrics are 54 or 60 inches wide. Try and stick to only the wider fabrics. The wider you can get it, the better. This will give you more room when trying to fit a big pattern piece on. Like, for example, this is pretty big, right? Well, that's a 6X size pattern, and that's only the front or the back. And so you need more space to fit those across the fabric, and 45-inch wide fabric won't work. Number two, buy more fabric than the creator or person tells you you're gonna need. I've made this mistake in the past in just my own tutorials where I've not even told you guys how much fabric you need, and no word of a lie, 6 years later I am still having to answer the question, how much fabric do I need? So if someone says, oh, it only took me like 1 meter, or, you know, this is a quick like stash busting thing where I only needed 1 meter or half a meter to make this, you probably need double. If you are double their size, you need double the fabric. Just keep in mind that you're always going to need more fabric than that person who is smaller than you. When you're watching a tutorial on how to upcycle something, or for a while those split tee things were really popular, where it was like half one style of t-shirt, half another style of t-shirt. Well, you may need to buy 2 of those. So you may need to buy like 2 shirts or 2 dresses that are the same or very similar or something like that to upcycle. And you may have to like patchwork it together, and you have to be okay with that, or maybe it's not the right tutorial for you. Yes, we all want to be able to make exactly what they're making or have it look as similar to theirs as possible, but when you require more fabric, you have to get around it somehow. So you may have to buy 2 complementing fabrics and or 2 complementing items, and know that you're gonna have to maybe cut the sleeves out of one and cut the dress part out of the other. You may have to make it work in a way that you weren't really expecting, but that's okay. It makes sure that you are creative and you will have a very unique piece in the end. This is something to keep in mind when you are shopping for materials. I have found so much good fabric at the thrift store. It could be bed sheets. There's usually a whole materials section when you're going into like those huge thrift stores like Value Village, Savers, Talese, Goodwill. They usually have a fabric section. Check there. Don't be afraid to like unfold it, see how much is there, check it over for stains and like fading and things like that. But I just recently made a pattern from an indie designer. There's a video coming on it soon. That was entirely made out of thrift store fabric. So, and it was a small piece too, like I think I had less than 2 meters of the fabric, and I was making the largest size of the pattern. So, you know, it's always possible to find materials there. And you may find a surprising quantity amount like left over, because a lot of times people, like, they go into nursing home, they've had stashes of fabric in their house, people pass away, people move away, and so their kids or whoever's cleaning out their house just donate it all. So there's huge amounts of fabric that are donated to thrift stores. Alright, let's talk about our sponsor, Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for creators. Explore new skills, deepen existing passions, and get lost in your creativity. Skillshare is really great for a bunch of different topics, but there is a lot of sewing basics on there that you can learn how to do things like make your own blocks, so you don't have to rely on a paper pattern from a store. You can get the fundamentals of sewing and learning how to thread your machine, how to make your own patterns, do all of those things and make your own clothes. For me personally, I use Skillshare to learn new things for my business and help my creativity grow and expand. So this month I'm looking forward to taking, I'm looking at it behind here, Find Your Style, 5 Exercises to Unlock Your Creative Identity by Andy J. Pizza. I don't know if that's his real name, but I like it. And I'm really looking forward to taking that, because to be honest, when your creativity is used up all the time very easily, I would really like to have some exercises that can help me unlock things and keep moving on the train of, I don't know, pumping things out, I guess. I would like to be able to have my creativity on tap when I need it. So that's a class I'm very much looking forward to taking this month, probably tomorrow, to be honest. Skillshare is curated specifically for learning, meaning there are no ads and they're always launching new premium classes. So you can stay focused and follow wherever your creativity takes you. Now you guys know the drill. This is not my first sponsorship with Skillshare. So the first 1,000 of my subscribers to click the link in my description will get a free trial of premium membership, so you can explore your creativity alongside me. Alright, so now for the final 3 tips on plus size sewing when you're following a tutorial from someone who is not the same size as you. Number 5, look for tutorials that are more about how I did this versus measurements that you need to follow to get there. If they're saying, oh, you can download a pattern or download a template, here's how I did this, that's not going to work for you. What you want is to follow somebody like with, her username is with Wendy. She is based in Toronto. I really enjoy watching her tutorials because they're more about like experimenting. How did we get here? What did I follow this next step? Oh, I found that this thing worked better for me, this technique, etc. You know, that's what you're looking for versus measurements and saying like, you need to make it 3 inches long. Well, that's not gonna work for everybody, you know? Also, I really like Annika Victoria, although it's been a while since she's posted, but go back and watch her other videos. She's really thorough, and also because she is working at the same time is being like chronically ill, she is very conscious about like taking her time and showing like how you can take a long time to make something, or you don't have to rush through a project, or it's how to make accommodations for what your body can and can't do. And I really enjoy that about her content. So it's definitely a different perspective than some people who basically just pump out new thing. I'm not even sure if they're wearing it or using it or whatever. Number 6, and this one will save your behind. Always do a mock-up. Don't just say, oh, that'll fit. Do a mock-up. If it means that you have to buy double the amount of fabric, or one cheap fabric and then one nicer fabric, do a mock-up, because it will save you from being so frustrated that you just throw it in the garbage. Do a mock-up, and if you like the fabric that you made everything in your mock-up out of and it works out well, you can salvage it and still wear the mock-up too. And then you end up with 2 things instead of just 1. But seriously, do the mock-up. I've seen a lot of people who do like historical costuming. They often use the mock-up as their lining. So they just fix it in whatever way they need to do. And if they can salvage it, they use it as the lining on their garment, which I think is genius. So if you're making something and maybe it's a top, but it's like a knit top or something like that, and you're not really sure about like how things are gonna fit, do a mock-up first. Maybe that's a good reason to get thrift store fabric. If you have a different fabric that you want to use and it's very nice and very expensive, do a mock-up with cheaper fabric first. It will save you so much frustration, so much time, and many, many tears will be saved. And finally, number 7, and I think this is really the most important tip to remember out of all of these, okay? As plus size people, we have been told our whole lives that skinny people are superior to us. And it's okay if you get bad body feelings while you're watching these tutorials. You really do have to come at it from a very detached perspective of, I'm not looking at their body, I'm making something for myself and it's not about them. But if when you're watching someone's tutorial, you are still getting the bad body feels, pause it. Come back another day, find a different creator that doesn't make you feel that way. There's some that use very triggering language and can really set off that in your mind and having a bad body image day. Maybe like, don't watch it if you're on your period and you're feeling bloated, or don't watch it if you're super tired or you're having a bad body image day. Those are like, do it when you're in the right mindset. Watch the video, take notes, maybe even listen to it more than you watch it, and just watch when you need the instructions for sewing and things like that. But it's okay if these videos make you feel bad about your body. Move on to a different person. If you can find a tutorial for what you want to do from someone else who doesn't make you feel that way, then do that. And you want to find somebody who doesn't talk bad about their body while they're doing it. This is why I enjoy watching with Wendy so much. She doesn't talk about her body like she's angry at it. She's currently pregnant and her body is changing, and she talks about that openly, and she talks about how she needs to dress a new body and sometimes her clothes aren't fitting right now and it's completely different and new for her. And she's just upfront about it, but she doesn't stick on it. Like, oh my goodness, I wish I was, you know, skinnier, or I wish I'm gonna make this 1 inch smaller so that like I lose weight to fit into it. She's never talked like that. And that's probably why I've watched her for so long. I've probably watched her for over 6 years now. And, you know, sometimes you just stick with people because they don't make you feel bad about yourself while you're watching their content. And that's the perfect reason to stick around. So if someone's tutorial is making you feel that way, maybe find someone else to watch. There's a lot of sewing tutorials available on the internet, and there's plenty of fish in the sea, as they say. Find someone else who doesn't make you feel bad about your body. Thanks for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you haven't seen the first one of these, I will link it in a card somewhere on the screen. Go watch it. Don't forget to click the Skillshare link in the description if you would like to get a free premium trial of Skillshare. And if you have any questions about sewing for plus size or anything like that, leave them in the comments below. I'm happy to answer them. Maybe I'll have enough questions to do another video like this. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye!